Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. This is the Slider Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Stuck in the Middle, Season 1, Episode 19, I think? I'm not really sure, but it's called... Okay, bear with me now. My tongue don't roll that way. I don't speak Spanish. Quinceañera. Think I said it right. Look, my tongue don't roll that way. I'm black. All right. I took Spanish 1. I passed that by the grace of God. Spanish 2 was hard. I think I lasted 2 weeks. I'm like, I can't take this no more. And I felt bad now because, like, okay, Spanish 1, I had like a Spanish lady, right? But then Spanish 2, I had like a white teacher and everything. And it was just hard and nobody could figure nothing out. And she was, I don't remember if she was mean or not, but nobody was getting it. I mean, nobody. So I'm like, screw this, man. I'm going to just like transfer on out of here or drop I transferred out of there first. And I tried to transfer into the other teacher's class, but there was a problem. Everybody from my class, except for one person, transferred to the other classes. So she was booked. So I just later dropped that class. And I felt bad when I had to like drop that class and transfer papers. Because I went in there and like, she was just in there by herself with that one student trying to teach him. And I'm just kind of like, oh man. I felt sad. But I still left anyway. She should have been more easygoing like the other lady. Like, she got to understand this is hard, because I didn't take it in high school. I took it in college and everything. And because I was too scared, I wanted to pass high school. I knew if I would have took it in high school, I probably would never pass high school. But anyway, yeah. So when it comes to the pronunciation of that and some other words, I can't do that well. And I don't even remember Spanish no more. I remember, I'll get into that part later. But anyway, so let's get into this actual episode. Why not? So anyway, little Georgie has turned 15 years old. And so if you saw my other video on Wizards of Waverly Place, then you know that this is a special time for young Spanish girls and everything. This is pretty much depicted throughout like all Spanish different types of like culture, Mexican, Colombian, Brazilian, Puerto Rican, Cuban and everything. They all celebrate this day. It's kind of like a bar mitzvah and everything. It's when a young girl in her teenage years, is becoming that of a woman. You gotta remember times back in the olden days of like horses and stuff like that was much different. The age range of when you can do certain things was I can't talk. Lips getting stuck together. Much different and everything. I've read online that doing this, girls that was in their 15 years old, they was able to like marry at this time. They was able to like drink and stuff like that. So for them, it very is much like an adulthood. Similar to that, the age range in like England or something like that. The drinking age and adult age is like different than that here of America and stuff like that. And it's interesting how different cultures do that and stuff. And so when it comes to this, I'm about to say it again, quinceañera. It's a quinceañera. That's the best I can do. I actually first heard about this when I was actually a kid. See, in classes, nobody never talked about this. They never talked about this in school. None of the Hispanic like kids in school never talked about this. Mostly where I live at, there aren't that many Hispanics, to tell you the truth, and stuff. Which is actually quite interesting. We have everything else, but not that many of them. And so, you never really learn about their culture. And then when I was in college, there were tons of different Hispanic type people there. You had like Mexican, Puerto Rican, and a lot of Cubans and stuff. A lot of them played tennis for some reason and stuff. And so like Dave never mentioned this and nothing like that. So like, but I do remember when I was a kid, I heard about this special day. I already reviewed that like about a year ago when I did The Puzzle Place. The Puzzle Place was this PBS show I watched as a kid. And so like there it's kind of like Sesame Street. They have kids in the form of puppets, and each puppet was like a different race. So it wasn't just like one thing. You had the Italian, you had the black person, Chinese Asian girl, you had a white dude from Scandinavian descent. And you had like the Jewish girl, and then you had the Mexican girl, and she talked about how like, you know, this is like a special day and stuff like that, and she can't wait to have hers many years because she was like 8, 9 in the episode, stuff like that. So when I heard about that, and I heard like, you know, it's a celebration and that, I didn't know too much about it or what really was it about because they didn't really go into much detail. Until, of course, I started watching Disney Channel of all things. And so when I started watching Wizards of Waverly Place, this was the first time like I ever got introduced to that. And then was stuck in the middle, I got introduced to it twice. So yes, you'll be getting a second video, probably a day after I upload this one and everything. Because it was actually the finale. But this one is in season 1 and it's Georgie's special day. And so if you're not familiar with Stuck in the Middle, Stuck in the Middle was... Okay, this is kind of hard to explain. It's kind of the first predominantly Hispanic show on Disney Channel, but kind of not. Technically, the kind of first one was more of an interracial one, with Wizards of Waverly Place being Italian and that of Mexican. Even though not everybody on the show was like Mexican. The mom was like Cuban. But you know how Disney and Hollywood is. It's pretty, like, trust me, when I try to explain stuff about this show, you're gonna get a little pissed. Stuff. But you know how Disney and Hollywood is. It's just whenever you have a show of like a certain culture, they start putting everybody of that culture in there. So it's the Wizards of Waverly Place had Mexicans and Cuban. And you know, pretend to be like Mexican. This show, however, really blended stuff up. But there's a third show that is predominantly Mexican as well, and it's called Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, a superhero show. Go watch that show. You have to. This show needs the ratings. From what I'm hearing, it secretly has been canceled, even though they still have episodes to air, and they won't let the public know. But it's just a rumor online right now. And they say it's not doing that well on Disney Plus. Nobody's watching it nobody's watching it on Disney Channel. I think one reason why it might be is Disney in the last couple of years have been trying to steer away from the old Disney formula of just being wacky and everything. So this show is a little bit more the Zoog Disney, where it's a little bit more serious, but you still have the hee-hee ha-has in there. And I don't think a lot of these younger kids, they're too used now to this Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, Sunny with a Chance, the Sweet Zach Life Cody, whatever that's called. They're used to that wacky stuff, and that show isn't wacky. And so they're not really gravitating towards it and stuff. But it's a good show. It's a great superhero show, especially for young kids, teens, whatever. And not only that, but it's an actual Mexican family that I know of that is actually playing a actual Mexican family. And you're learning like actual Mexican terms and everything, which these other shows don't do and stuff. So it's sad that true representation, and I gotta relook the cast back up, but I'm pretty sure everybody's Mexican. And if I'm right, then it is the true first predominantly Mexican show. Now, this one, on the other hand, and you might get a little upset. So this show stars Jenna Ortega, I think. Anyway, so proud of her, by the way. So like, 'cause she's really moving up in like movies and stuff, and in Hollywood, she was in Scream 5 and stuff, and she was in another horror movie and stuff. Anyway, so she's Mexican and Puerto Rican. Okay, so most of the people who are cast on the show are Mexican and Puerto Rican, and they're also mixed with Jewish. Nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? At least they're Mexican and Puerto Rican. But this is where things get dicey. One person on the show is, I think, Cuban and everything. And another person is Italian, and another person is white. And they cast those people on this show, and it's just kind of like, I don't get it. I mean, at least the Cuban girl is Spanish and there, or is Spanish or whatever, but it's kind of like, and the Italian lady, I know exactly why she picked this show and everything, and so it's kind of like, and I like her as an actress, and like she explained, like casting and stuff like that, and what casting told her 20 years ago as to why Hollywood keeps doing this. But the white girl was a little confusing. But the white girl, you can't even really tell is white. She looks Spanish. Her hair is curly. She has kind of like a tan. She just kind of looks it. And she's played a Mexican twice on this show and that show on Netflix, On My Block or something like that. Well, let's just say this. She caused an uproar on Twitter and offended the entire Mexican culture in a bad, bad, bad way. So bad that the main actress of this show called her behind out on Twitter. And then the other girl who played Georgie, she called her out too. And everything. Needless to say, she was written off both shows. And she has since to finish. I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know my race. Girl, you're white. Look it up online. You're white. And so, like, then later on, when everybody gave her heat, and then she's all like, I'm sorry, I was 16. I let politics get in my head and stuff like. Nah, that's just a fake celebrity apology. So, and her life has been down the crapper ever since. So she got her just desserts and everything. But anyway, let's get into this episode. I'm talking way too much. And I didn't even really talk about this episode. So, one thing that I didn't mention in the Wizards of Waverly Place is that why is it called oh God, okay, bear with me now. Quinceañera. It's because 15, the girl turns 15, and that's how you say, I think. Okay, this is the part that's a little hard. Is it Quincy or is it Quinca? Because in Wizards of Waverly Place, the one white actress said Quincy, and she said that means 15. But but here's the thing. From what I remember in Spanish 1, if it ends in a E, it sounds like a A. So yeah, I don't know. And I don't know how to say it properly. So my bad if you get offended by that. Like, I'm not trying to mispronounce it, but my tongue does not roll that way. And so, like, my bad. But anyway, to this episode, Georgie, I don't remember. Okay, let's see. One, two. Okay, she is the second oldest girl in the group. And no, she ain't the white girl. The white girl is the oldest one, named Rachel. So anyway, she is the second oldest one in the family. And it's a huge family. And Harley is the one in the middle because she's like the middle child. This is kind of based slightly off of Jenna's like real life. My throat is sore. Hold on. This is kind of based off her life because I think she's like the fourth child, and she has like 5 brothers and sisters or something like that. And so, like, yeah, they just took that from like her life and just put that in the show and everything. But anyway, so even though Georgie is the second oldest, she doesn't act like the awkward middle child. You know how the middle child is very awkward, always tries to stand out. Like, the parents, they pay attention to the oldest one because that's the one who's getting older and sometimes it might be a little more bad. And then they pay attention to the younger one because they're younger and sometimes also bad or too adorable. So the middle child always gets kind of like left out. And that's how Georgie acts, even though she isn't the middle child. If you ever watch Family Guy, think of Meg. That's kind of how she is. She's always getting dumped on. Every time she tries something bad happens. And she's not even looking forward to her quinceañera and everything. She just wants to eat out and just like, that's it. Like, that's literally it. She doesn't even want to think about it because Rachel had an amazing one. And since her life isn't always that like, like cool and stuff, she figured it just ain't gonna be like all that, and who's really gonna want to go to it, And so Harley, she is the inventor of the group. She's like a dumpster diver. She finds all these like stuff and she builds things. That was kind of like her little Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, like Disney Princess Girl channel type thing. Because see, this show is different from other Disney shows. It revolves around family, sure, but it also revolves around the main central character. And they try to go old school Disney, like Zoog Disney, where it's a little bit more serious and more family oriented, but they still need that wacky like Disney Channel era thing. So they gave her the thing of like the inventor, and she invented kind of like this hula hoop with a camera on it, and she's so proud of it and everything, and she wants to display it for everybody, but she doesn't know when and how. And then she thinks, oh wait, Georgie's like big day is coming up, I can have her wear it, and then everybody be looking at her wearing it. So she basically tricks Georgie into wanting to have like her special day and everything, right? And then next thing you know, the rest of the family does it as well. Well, most of them and everything. And so in this episode, you have Harley wanting to show off her invention. So she's using Georgie, trying to convince Georgie, and it works. Then the rest of the manipulation comes in. Rachel does goes like shopping with her for the dress. Now on a quinceañera, you have to wear a very lovely, gorgeous gown type dress because you are becoming a woman and everything. Now the high heel thing, from going from like a flat shoe to a high heel shoe that was did in Wizards of Waverly Place, is not shown here. Not sure why. I don't know. Like I said, different cultures, different things. So who really knows? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Georgie picked out this dress she likes, but Rachel does not like it. And Rachel remembers how great she looked in her dress. So Rachel tricks her into picking a red dress that Georgie does not like and can barely walk in it and get down the steps. But of course, in a quinceañera, you have to dance with your family. Georgie doesn't really know how to dance. So the youngest daughter, Daphne is my favorite. Daphne is insane. She's mouthy. She's like aggressive. For some reason, she sleeps in both a doghouse and a dollhouse. Her hair is always messed up and ratty, and like she always rips the heads off her dolls and stuff like that, or like circle in their eyes and cry. She's like a really odd character that's just cool and stuff. And so she's the youngest. She's all like, I have dance moves. I can teach y'all stuff. So she's dancing the way she wants to, but not the way that Georgie wants to or that Georgie can learn from, right? Then it comes the brother Ethan, and he is the third oldest. And he's also Harley's like best friend in the entire family. And so like he always has her back. And so Harley is convinced to getting this party going, and she'll do whatever it takes. So she convinces him that, hey, remember when Rachel had her guests and all her friends at school and you tried hitting on them, but they didn't like a short guy and they're really tall? So what he does is he just starts inviting girls that Georgie doesn't even know that's like in her grade level, but near his height level. So he's inviting all these people, and she don't even know who most of these people are and stuff. And so he's using her as well. So there's like a side plot with the two brothers that are twins, and one's excited because there's a hurricane that's named after him. So he's dressed up like a hurricane while his other brother is being like a meteorologist and stuff. And so like when it's coming to like the preparations for like her big day and everything, Georgie is just getting too overwhelmed and everything. She's not happy. And that really sucks because they're taking away Georgie's like special day and everything, And it's really crappy of them to only think about themselves and not her. And so like as everything is kind of like, they're trying to get ready, when they sleep one night, Harley, who shares a room with them and her two sisters and stuff, they realize they hear like bouncing, and it's Georgie. She's outside and she's playing basketball by herself, and she wakes her sister and brothers up and says, hey, like only Georgie only does this when she's upset and everything. So they spy on her outside. But then Georgie decides to hit like something which reveals like Harley and stuff. And she explains what's like all going on that got her upset. And she lets them have it and stuff. but how she's not happy about her special day and she doesn't even want it to come and everything. And so Harley like feels majorly like, upset because she's the one who caused all this chaos and everything. And so like they all agree, they're gonna let Georgie do what she wants. So they go back and they get the blue dress she wants. Daphne teaches her how to dance the way she wants to dance. I don't know what the situation going on with the friends and stuff, but anyway, she wants to have it outside and everything like that, and it's her special day. And no, wait. Why is she outside? I guess she's outside. And so it's her special day. She's getting ready, but then something happens. A hurricane. The father didn't believe the boys when he said the hurricane supposed to head this way, and because he thought the meteorologist was just like, wasn't like sure. Well, it comes and it messes everything up outside. It blows stuff away. Georgie's getting wet and everything. She twists her ankle of all things. So she's sitting on the couch and she's just bummed out and everything. And I mean, she's really just bummed out and like sad and stuff. And because here she is not wanting this special day, then wanting this special day, only to get it and have it ruined and everything. And because the hurricane has blocked off the roads, nobody can drive in or out to like, be at her party and stuff. So it's just the family. So Harley, being Harley, she decorates the inside of the house and they have the quinceañera there and everything. And so Georgie's like happy again. But what she does is Harley creates her own version of a hoverboard and everything because, she's the inventor and stuff. And so this will allow Georgie to like sit on it and dance around or stand on it and dance around with everybody because she can't move her ankle. And Georgie's having a great time and the family's dancing and everything like that, And I love how like when Harley screwed up majorly, she found the way to like make it better for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like a really cool episode. It's sad seeing Georgie all sad and depressed and everything, especially when she's bummed out on the couch and everything and like moping. But she was smiling later on and doing like the party and stuff. So that's great because this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a celebration and everything. Like they always say, like a girl's womanhood is her, what, monthly, stuff like that. And so, but that hurts. I heard. So it's like, at least here they get to like party and do other stuff here. You can't party with the other things. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.